everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. Got a couple of us in the house.
I'm sure Donna's going to be happy when she pops and says, well, at least Jay's here. There's Donna. Good morning, Donna. Just saying it, too. That's awesome. It's good to see you, Donna. Good morning.
Yep. No, we got Donna and Wen in the house already.
And,
we got a couple of important games this weekend. We also have, before we get into that, we have a weird situation in Buffalo. Now, obviously, they come up short. The owner has been a little bit outspoken as far as blaming the coaching staff. And now it's taken it even a step further. Like, he is just, not only did he drive the bus over McDermott, and not to say that he shouldn't have been fired. So let's get that out of the way. But he backs the bus over him a couple of times and then immediately just throws strays at Keon Coleman. And not that Keon Coleman has lived up to the draft position, right? At the same time, he's still on your roster. Bury guys that are still on your roster. Like, that is wild to me. So here's the clip. And then once you listen to this clip, the real question is who's lying in Buffalo?
Particularly when I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player.
So just to head back to the front of this.
And I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't.
That sure sounds like you wanted that guy. And
yeah,
not only that, but why lie about it? Like, you're going to miss on some picks. But then at the same time, you're going to go on national TV in a press conference and bury a current player.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Keon Coleman, you have to be thinking he's talking to his agent like, hey, figure out how to get me out of here.
Oh, there's a lot of things I'm thinking. The first thing I'm thinking is you just cut the legs out from your general manager too. And then on top of cutting the legs out of him, now you just told everybody in your locker room that, you're doing bad business. Or you're putting a level of toxicity out there in that locker room. Because now they're thinking like, okay, if he said that about Keon, what else is he saying to Brandon about us?
Oh, yeah.
And if this is the way you support Keon, how are you going to support me? Now, that's just, you talk about putting division in a locker room, and it's not like you can get rid of it like a coach or that's your owner. You can't just get rid of the owner. What's he going to do? Unless he sells the team. I mean, you're stuck there.
Yeah.
So now you got who's going to take that job? Because you take that job, you're coming into a situation that's already toxic as hell because your owner done made it toxic.
Well, I mean, you're taking that job because it's still an attractive job, right? Like, but at the same time, you're looking at this thing like the owner's just going to come out and say wild stuff. And we're talking about the owner of the Bills there, Donna. So I just, that is such a wild stance to, obviously you bury your ex-coach, which fair enough. Like, every company you've ever worked for, if somebody quits, everything that's ever gone wrong was their fault, right? Everybody's just like, well, they're not here to defend themselves. All of it was them. Fair enough. How are you going to barbecue a guy that's still in your building? I mean,
yeah,
like you kind of need him to take that step forward. And now, I mean, you have to think mentally, he's just like, wow, the hell with this guy. I want to get out of here. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Now, again, it's not like he's lived up to the draft selection, right? So let's not pretend like Keon Coleman is some all-world receiver. Like, obviously, he's underperformed. But you can't have your owner come out and just destroy the kid. I don't know. It sounds way more toxic than you would have thought.
Yeah, because if I'm Keon, that would be the first thing I would be saying. I'd be saying, like, if my owner believes this in me, then yeah, I need to go to a different spot and a fresh approach to the game. Because now this kid's got all kinds of things going through his head that he don't need to have going through his head other than the playbook. And I would be talking to my agent.
Doesn't even have
absolutely be talking to my agent.
He doesn't even have a playbook to go through. They don't have a coach yet.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, but when they get a coach, you can't tell me that that's not in the back of his head, even when he's looking at the playbook. Now he's thinking like, damn, I really got to,
Oh, I
don't know. It just
before you even get to that point, I think I would be on the phone to my agent, like, hey, get me out of Buffalo. Like, do what you got to do. Obviously he's still under his rookie deal, so he has very little control. But I mean, if you got your owner coming out crushing you, you have your GM basically like just riding along saying, oh yeah, no, it wasn't my selection, even though, HBO had him saying, yeah, he was my guy and we wanted him next unless somebody's amazing. So if you're going to have a couple of guys that are running this thing just absolutely turn their back on you, that you don't want to be there. Clearly,
I wouldn't want to be there.
And if you're him, you're looking at like, clearly you guys don't want me here. So let me get up out of here.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, though, I still think that puts a toxicity, even after he's gone with that team, there's still going to be a level of toxicity in that building. And if it's not between his players, it's going to be between him and the GM. I mean, at some level, there's going to be a lot of friction. And I don't know how you build a Super Bowl roster or a Super Bowl team when you're dealing with that level of toxicity within management. And then there's going to be some carryover with the other players. I mean, I don't know how if you talk about a stalemate, you can't get beyond a wall, you just put an extra wall in front of that wall.
For sure.
I don't get that level of business. And he seems like a savvy. I mean, he's got some, and then he goes and the guy goes, he's going to go to Bean and let Bean talk. And then he just, hey, nah, Brandon, you just, not only am I going to bury you, but I'm going to tell you to step aside so I can bury you. It's like,
it was such a wild way to go about it. I mean, it would have been easy enough had they been like, we all liked Keon. I mean, first off, I don't know why you're crushing this kid while he's still in the building. Like, if he'd already moved on to a different team, you're like, oh, okay, I guess fair enough, whatever.
Right.
You're just burning everybody to the ground. Cool. But in this case, it's like, okay, well, first off, burying him doesn't help you in any way. I mean, all it does is create tension in the room. But then you're like, okay, well, our GM never wanted him. I never wanted him. It's like, oh, cool. So not only did you basically call me a scrub on national TV, but you'd also said nobody in the building wants me here.
Yeah. How do you even walk into the building? Like, listen, how do you even come to work the next day, walking into that building, knowing that they don't really want you there? Like, I'd be like, what's the point of even walking in the building? You don't want me here.
Yeah, that's where you're straight on your phone and you're like, hey, get him to trade me. I'm not worth anything, so maybe they should just cut me. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, he might as well just pull up Brandon Ayuk and just turn off his cell phone to the club, stop going to the facility, and just deal with the agent. I don't think there's a person in the world that wouldn't understand his situation.
I think you go the Michael Jordan route, and you're just like, I took that personally.
But no, I mean, think about it. I mean, and if you're Brandon Beane, if you're that guy, you're thinking like, God, man, this dude literally just burned me in front of everybody. So even if I move on from this organization,
he didn't burn Beane.
Well, it sounded like he didn't like.
No.
Like he didn't have confidence in what Bean was doing, is what it makes it sound like.
He didn't burn Bean. Basically, he said that bad selection was on the coaching staff, not on Bean, and Bean was just doing his coach a solid. So he basically was like, "Oh, I'm absolving him from any issues with our roster," which is hilarious because there's one dude that puts the roster together, the GM. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's funny that he's like, "Oh, I'm just absolving Bean from all of the roster deficiencies, and we're blaming it all on the coach." It's like, okay, well then what was Bean doing?
Well, it's almost like, why even have the GM? Why would, it's almost like you're making McDermott the GM/coach, and you're probably not even giving him GM pay. You're just giving him coaching pay, but you're going to burn him for it.
Well, the thing is if that's true, then why was Bean not fired also?
Exactly. 100%.
Right? Like, so it just kind of it's you're looking at this Bill situation, and it's like, okay, who's lying? And as it looks, I mean, from the outside, it looks like everybody is. Now, again, I'm not saying McDermott shouldn't have been fired. For him to underperform the way he did without all the obstacles everybody always made the excuses for, should have been let go. I get it. But how you don't get the GM out of there where you have a defense that, largely doesn't perform, and, an offense that really, unless Josh Allen is Superman, doesn't do anything. Well, that roster is on your GM, right? Like that's generally how that works. So wild to me if you're going to fire the coach, especially because of a roster deficiency, then your GM should go with him. And McDermott was even complaining about deficiencies in the roster during the season. So I don't know.
So let me ask you this question. So if you're, I know you said that you would still take the job, but if you're a coaching candidate and you're going through these interview processes, are you going to tell me in the back? Because they all know, all these coaching candidates, they know the situation. Now everybody know what's going on there. How would you not take that job and be wondering, okay, when I take this job, if I get these people, am I going to get blamed for, like, this happens again? Am I going to be blamed for the roster moves now too, or am I just going to be a coach? So like, that would be in my mind, though.
So it'll always be in your mind, because here's the problem when you take a job as a coach. There's only 32 of these openings ever, right?
Yeah.
It's just how many teams there are. Right. So it's a pretty small window as far as getting that job to begin with. Also, people don't fire coaches that are winning. So you are going to a place that has problems. It's either a roster problem, cap problem. Like none of the places that you're going to walk into, unless a coach just out and out retires and gives up a great roster, you're going into a situation where it's going to be a struggle, right? Some of them, it's going to be the Jets and the Browns, where it's an organizational struggle. Some of them are going to be just really incomplete rosters, or the Cowboys a couple years ago, where it was just cap hell walking into that job. So you can't really do anything with the roster. So, I mean, there's always going to be issues with teams when you're taking over as a head coach, because, well, people don't fire coaches that are winning. So,
right.
So that's kind of that end of it. So you're going to go into it like, okay, I got some things to overcome. Are they things that I can overcome enough that if it doesn't work here, I can still get another job? So like if you're a Harbaugh or Stefanski or whatever, that's why they looked at, okay, the next bite at the apple here, I want to make sure that I can jump off and have success right away. If you're a first year guy, like you're a coordinator that's getting into the job or something like that, then you can take one of these bad jobs, because even if it falls apart, if it's the Jets and the Browns, you're definitely going to get another shot, because people are going to be like, yeah, I mean, you weren't able to turn it around, but no one has. So
yeah, so, absolutely.
But so you'll get that second chance. And worst case, if you were a good enough coordinator that you've got that shot, you can go back to being a coordinator and, win some more games, and then probably get another shot down the road. So, but it's when it's your second try at it that you have to be a little more selective as far as where you're going to go, just because you don't want to go and have a bad run, because then it's like, oh, okay, this guy actually can't coach. Or they look at it as like, oh, well, the organization is why he had success, not because he's a good coach. So,
right.
it's still a very attractive job though. You have the MVP in Josh Allen, right? Former MVP. And there's elements of that team. So it just really depends on how much say you get to have on roster selection. I mean, you got to work as a team with your GM, but if the GM is like, I'm going to give you who I give you, I don't know how attractive that is.
Yeah, because it seems like as a coach, you would want to have at least an input on it. Because it is your system that you're installing. So you want to make sure you're getting the guys that are going to fit your system. So exactly. Yeah, you would want to have that. And then honestly, if you're doing it on the offensive side, you want to obviously put your quarterback, Josh Allen, you want his input too, because he's the one to be the one working with these guys. You got to make sure the chemistry is going to be good. So what is Josh Allen looking for? How does that line up with the system? I mean, it seems like all those three pieces have to line up, No.
He wants to win. He doesn't care who's in there. He wants to go win a ring. I mean, this was his best year at it.
Yeah.
His best chance, because you had Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar all out of the way.
Right. Yeah, a guy like Drake May in there, and Bo Nix, and Bo Nix, man, that's a whole nother situation. I'm sure we'll get that when we talk about the games here in a minute. But let me ask you this: not to switch subjects, but I guess as we're talking coaches and changes and things like that, I just saw last night that Jesse Minter took the Ravens job. I thought that was interesting. Oh,
yeah,
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I must have missed that one. Who did we get? What's that? And you said who's defensive coordinator did we get?
You got the Eagles DC.
Oh shit! That was what's his face? Fangio.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder how Pags feels about. First of all, I like it. I do. I like that Eagles defense, and we need that. And everybody knows that Fangio is a hell of a great defensive coordinator. Hell of a lot better than Eberflus. Hell of a lot better than Zimmer. So I'm on board with that. I just want to.
Way to set the bar super low, though.
Well, I know, right? Hey, I didn't pick him. Okay, I'm just glad that we got somebody competent.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I wonder how Pags would be sad right about now.
Zimmer and Eberflus, and you're like, I would hope they're better. Like,
I mean, the last time we had a good defensive coordinator, I'd have to probably go back to Dave Campo or something.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I did like the pickup for you though.
Yeah, I like that pickup too. That's the first damn thing in the Cowboys have done that I've been excited about. Shit. Did Jerry die? Or did he get a GM?
No, you're not.
I just want to know who's making these better decisions. That's interesting. Pags has got to be sad right about now.
He's going to say he doesn't care, doesn't need
it.
Yeah,
but he cares. He cares.
Trying to see if there's any other hirings.
I like that. I do think, what do you think of? Because correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Minter at one time he was with Baltimore under Harbaugh, right? I'm pretty sure he was with the team.
Oh,
I think it was 2000. I think it was 2020. Oh, they got hiring Chris. Oh man, Park. Okay, well, I don't know much about Parker, so I can't really speak on him. I thought we got Fangio, but either way, I mean. Minter, I think it was in 2020. He was with Lamar Jackson, I believe. During that, it was only like a handful of players. I think Marlon for the defense. I think he was there when Minter was there as well. So he knows that team. He knows the ownership. So I think that actually looks like a pretty good hire for them.
No, like it's not bad. It's not a bad. Atlanta gets a new GM. I'm very curious about how that dynamic's going to work, just because it didn't work in Tennessee.
Right.
Sense the excitement. Because
I know. Did you think might have
because Tennessee had the the president of operations and then the GM, and the president had complete autonomy and veto ability and all of that. Now that Atlanta has that, they just hired their GM and James Lipford. But Matt Ryan holds all the cards. Now, That being said, Matt Ryan is very smart. So I don't think he would do anything crazy. I don't think he would do the Tennessee action where you're dictating to the GM. But so I think it'll probably work better in Atlanta. But it's just kind of a weird thing, right?
Well, I thought it was interesting too. The fact this is the second time that they've taken something from Tennessee and implemented it there. The first time was with Arthur Smith. They tried to make that their head coach. That didn't work out. So now they're bringing, the former GM from the Titans over, And like you said, I wasn't really excited with some of the things they did over in Tennessee. So, like you said, I am curious to see how that works out for them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, it's can't hardly go much worse. So
no, it can't. And correct me if I'm wrong. Atlanta, they let go of Raheem Morris, and they're still waiting to get a coach, or they already got a coach there.
They have Stefanski.
That's right. Okay. They brought us to. Okay,
yeah, no. Atlanta's going to take a step forward, right?
So they will.
Stefanski, you have Matt Ryan in that president role. Obviously, Matt Ryan is very familiar with the organization, and again, very smart. Like I expect him to do similar things that John Lynch has done with the Niners.
Yeah. And he's got great pieces there to work with.
Exactly. So
he didn't really have, and one thing he's going to have more clarity at quarterback rather than that craziness that they were doing over in Cleveland.
Still no, actually, kind of. Now it's not going to be as dysfunctional as Cleveland, obviously, but you still have Penix recovering from his ACL injury, so he's probably not actually going to be ready for week 1.
Yeah, so they'll have Cousins ride it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're going to start the season with Cousins, and then at some point you'll probably switch over to the you'll switch over to Penix when he's ready.
For sure.
But unless Cousins comes out and looks good. I mean, if you remember when Aaron snapped his Achilles, that next year, although he was able to play, wasn't great. It was the year after that he finally was good. So This is that year after for Cousins.
Right.
And so I'm curious if you're going to see him kind of get back to doing what he does well, which is, sling the rock around.
Right.
And then Stefanski's going to use his running back, right? That's something Morris, for whatever reason, wasn't consistently doing. So Bijan's going to get a lot of touches. And then you add Cousins in there. If he can be anything close to what he was through the bulk of his career, that's going to be a tough out.
And one thing I like what Stefanski did at Cleveland, though, he really used his tight ends, Fannin Jr. and Njoku. He really got those guys involved. I mean, they had good roles in that team. I wonder if he's going to do that with Kyle. I mean, I know that they didn't have much else. I know Judy and things like that, but I'm just wondering if Kyle Pitts will get used more often now than what he was being used.
Well, I think he will. Cousins has no problem throwing to tight ends. But at the same time, if you think to Cleveland, they had a bunch of quarterbacks that just couldn't throw the ball very well.
Right. I mean, you're right.
So, of course, you're using a lot of check down throws because you kind of have to. I mean, Shedeur was pushing the field a little bit, but, threw the other team a lot. In his limited, I think he had 7 or 8 games, he threw 10 picks. So, I mean, it's not like he was lighting up the scoreboard or anything.
Right.
So, yeah, in fact, his numbers were almost identical to Dylan Gabriel's. He had a couple more wins because they played some bad teams. Same amount of touchdowns, way more picks, similar yards, similar amount of starts. So, I mean, it was, although anybody watching is like, oh, you must hate Shedeur. It's like, no, you guys are just calling him all world. He had the same stats as Gabriel.
Wow. And I don't know, what is your thoughts on Dylan Gabriel coming out of Oregon and going there and his play in Cleveland? I thought Dylan Gabriel was a moderately good quarterback. I just felt like they didn't give him enough time to really do anything in Cleveland because you yanked him. I don't know. There's a lot of growing pains there.
Well, there was way too much pressure having Shedeur on the roster,
right,
to let Gabriel actually evolve in the system, right? Because you started the season with Flacco out there. So it's not even like he started week 1, right? Flacco was out there for, a handful of weeks. And then Gabriel gets in, he struggles, which, he's a rookie. That happens. It was Stefanski's guy. He wanted him. And then, he was struggling. So ownership, who wanted Shedeur, forced Shedeur on him, who also struggled, but apparently that didn't matter. And I don't know, Cleveland's such a bizarre spot.
But if you're Dylan Gabriel, are you looking like to get the hell out of there and get to a team that you could actually grow and develop with and actually become something? Or do you stay with Shedeur and just live in this world of you don't know what the hell?
No, Cleveland's actually more of a dumpster fire than you think. So everybody kind of speculated, myself included, is they extended Deshaun's contract to lower the cap hit for every year. And I figured that was because they wanted to cut him and have the per year hit be less so they could, build the team and whatever.
Right.
Apparently, they are going to give him a real shot to be the starter there. So at that point, what is your plan? You have 2 rookies on your staff. You have Deshaun, who's been he hasn't had a meaningful season since he was a Texan. So, I mean, we're talking years ago. He hasn't even had very good games in that time.
No.
So, but you're trotting him out there thinking he may. I mean, I don't understand what they're doing. Not that I ever understand what the Browns are doing, but it's just a wild thing. But yeah, I mean, they may be trotting Deshaun out there as the starter. So then what are you doing with your backups?
Yeah.
Or I guess would be your second guy. So Gabriel's third. They still have Zappy on the practice squad or so, that's such a bizarre quarterback room that I just really don't get the concept of what it is they're trying to do there. And again, I don't know that anybody does. They haven't been able to get that quarterback situation right since they became an organization again. So,
and then add insult to injury, he's also coming off of a major injury like the Achilles. So you got to see how that Achilles is going to respond once he actually does get out there. And I'm sure it'll be fine, but that's still a pretty significant injury to come off of, on top of all the other things though that he has going on. Mm-hmm. That's just like one extra thing, it seems like. But you're right. I mean, the guy hadn't played in forever, and when he has played, he's not looked like the same Deshaun when he first came into the league.
No, he's had like one decent game. So,
yeah.
Chad, is that official? I hadn't seen McCarthy officially as the head coach there. I knew he was going for another interview, but I hadn't seen that was officially the case. If it is, buckle up, man.
But I wonder if Aaron would want to team up with him again, since that is the guy that got him, or they worked together for the Super Bowl. But do you think that he may want to go one more try at it?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know that we're seeing. I don't know that he comes back. I think the owner of the Steelers was right when he's like, yeah, he came here for Tomlin. I don't think he particularly likes McCarthy.
Oh, you're talking about Rodgers doesn't like McCarthy?
Yeah.
Wow. I wonder. I mean, that's the guy that he got a Super Bowl with. Why wouldn't you? Unless there's some bad blood in there somewhere.
Well, that's the thing, is they were together for a long time after that, right? Before McCarthy gets fired. So I think that was just they came up short together enough times that it ended up being toxic. Plus it's Rodgers, right? So situations seem like they go a little bit on the toxic side.
I mean, it just seems like him and Favre had a lot of similarities, and I don't know if that was just some bad habits he picked up from Favre, being under him and watching the way he did press conferences, the way he handled his business. Because it seems like in some aspects, I guess more the uncertainty of knowing where his head is at.
Yeah.
You know, like Favre didn't, you know, you never knew where Favre's head was at until he finally, you know.
The thing with Rodgers is he like hamstrings teams because he's like, oh, I might come here, I might not. And then he waits until you have to hope he comes because everybody else is already on a team.
Right.
So like if I'm moving in as a head coach, I'm going to go get a guy. And then if Rodgers wants to come, if that's something you want to deal with, then great. But I'm going to plan for you to not be there. And then if you do come, then cool. Maybe a special teamer doesn't make the team or whatever, right? Like you make some space for Rodgers just because he played good enough that maybe you take the flyer on it.
Right.
But I don't see how you do what the Steelers did this last year, where you're just like, well, if he doesn't come, we just have no plan at all.
Yeah. And I got to agree with Dustin. I feel like Minnesota should really reach out to him and be like, hey, come here for 1 year. We don't really believe in McCarthy, but we got all the pieces that you would need, you know, and a good defense, you know, to take you probably to the promised land, or at least make a really serious run rather than, you know, a couple of pieces in Steelers, but nobody really believed in it. But I think Minnesota, like you said, Bo, if you're going to go, you're only that one piece away that would take him. And I think that is the one piece away, right? You got a good tight end in Hawkinson, decent running back in Jones, right?
Yeah.
Jefferson and Addison. I mean, you got all the things you need.
If there was ever a team that, if you wanted to deal with Rodgers being Rodgers for 1 year, it's the Vikings. They legitimately are that team with a competent quarterback, can go win. Now, do I think they do if they have Rodgers? Probably not, but they're a playoff team. Like they immediately are a real team, right? Because although Rodgers isn't what he used to be, he still looked good. And that was with a Steelers team that wasn't good.
Right. Because I got to believe if I'm Aaron, I'm not coming back. And we all know Aaron. Aaron's not going to come back unless he thinks he has a real shot at a title, because he's not just going to come back and go to a scrub team just to get the money. I don't think that's what's motivating him. What's motivating him is he wants to get that nothing to add to his legacy. And there ain't but one team out there that he could do that with, and I think it is Minnesota, because everybody else has all the other contenders out there have their stuff locked in.
No, exactly.
I think that really is the only destination.
Most people agree with this sentiment. Most people want to see Rodgers be done because we just don't want to have to talk about him anymore. The problem is he's still playing at a good enough level that a team that is a quarterback away, that the rest of the roster is good, he's a point of conversation because he is still an upgrade from a lot of the guys that are around the league. I mean, if you had Rodgers and Tua and Love and all these guys all in a line, and you're like, hey, we're going to make one run, you're probably taking Rodgers out of most of the guys around the league. And, that does say some bad things about the other quarterbacks in the league. If you have a, 42-year-old, 43-year-old, however old he is, quarterback that is not in his prime and is still playing as good, if not better, than these guys that you're giving $55+ million a year. I mean, that doesn't say good things about the state of the league moving forward.
I would say this, though. I would love to go to Costa Rica with him to that ayahuasca resort and hang out with him there. I think that would be a hell of a good time. I think that'd be fun as hell. I mean, I don't like him as a person, but I think he'd be a good fun to hang out with ayahuasca. That'd be awesome.
Chad, I would need some pretty good coordinators.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to hell. All I can tell you is welcome to hell, man. The winning days are over. If you need a therapist, I got some really good advice on how to deal with disappointment.
Yeah, and when you're not wrong. Like he is a toxic energy kind of guy. Yeah. So I'm not saying anything about that, but you're not talking about a leader forever. You're talking about a one-off push to the Super Bowl, and that's where you look at at that situation. That's why teams still bring in Carson Wentz as a backup, right? Like as a starter, he was a little bit of a head case. That's why the Eagles ate like close to $40 million. And we're just like, hey, go play anywhere else. We don't care. So, but people still bring him in because although he may not necessarily be the leader in the locker room that you want, dude can still throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at a backup, you need a guy that can come in and win. Or if you're going for a one-off, also with Carson Wentz, he went and played for Indy for a year, and they didn't bring him back. But, I mean, he threw for 4,000 yards, had a good touchdown to interception ratio. I mean, and Wentz absolutely is toxic, which is why he was moved out of Philly.
Yeah.
Is because he was after getting injured, he was just never the same guy. Like mentally, something was off. Based on every report I've ever heard, is his ability to throw the ball on the field was still good, but his locker room, demeanor just wasn't great. So,
which, in all honesty, I mean, if I was Chad. Hey, Chad, you may want to take a couple of losing seasons so you can kind of get some good draft picks or out of that. I mean, the one thing they never had is a solid quarterback because they've always been too far down in the draft to actually get the guy that could take over from Ben Roethlisberger or whatever.
Sure.
So you've had to make peace dues with whatever you can find. So, I mean, sometimes taking that step back and having that losing season is not a bad thing because you got to do something to build your team up going forward. So it's not a bad vibe.
And Donna, toxicity isn't always the same, right? You can be toxic without necessarily being like the Rodgers abrasive. You can be toxic because you are trying to win the Super Bowl every time you get in the game, rather than making the plays you're supposed to, and not being a good leader, blaming other people. So when you're all of a sudden you're not a team guy, you're not necessarily that abrasive toxicity, but you can still be toxic in that environment.
When he took that job with the Steelers, didn't he miss some time? Didn't he take some time off before he reported to camp or whatever? I think. Am I right? I don't think he I don't think he took part in those voluntary workouts or anything like that. Which I know he doesn't have to because of his status. But it seems like if he really wanted to win a Super Bowl, he would want to go to some of those workouts and work with DK. And maybe he was working with DK. I don't know. Maybe they had some off-season stuff that they were doing, and he has a chemistry with them.
They did.
Okay.
So Rodgers does like DK a lot, which is funny because Rodgers is that guy that complains about people not being where they're supposed to be, and DK is rarely where he's supposed to be. So so that is something I found very funny. I don't know. Honestly, the guy they got out of the building in Pickens, also, a bit of a head case like DK, is a better route runner though. So they actually spent way more money and honestly kind of downgraded comparatively because although, DK is a great go ball, he just doesn't catch that. He doesn't catch the easy ones and he doesn't run clean routes. So, it's a little bit of a mystery of why they went the way they did. If they were keeping them both, which is what I thought they were originally doing, that would have made way more sense to me.
And they still have Will Howard on the roster, don't they? What are they going to do with him? Or do they just not believe in him?
I don't know what they're doing. Honestly, a lot of what they're doing doesn't make a ton of sense. But it's not gonna yet because they don't have a coach. So once they get a coach in there, then we'll kind of have an idea what it is. The path forward. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because he went there and Will Howard just kind of got lost in the shuffle. That was
the Steelers are just a weird thing. I don't know.
Well, we got some Super Bowl teams to talk about now.
Well, we got some championship games anyway, and you can bet on them right here with us.
Use the
QR code on the screen, up to 125% of the first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee. Only have 2 games to talk about because it is championship weekend, and man, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, my team's in it, so that helps. But I'm always looking forward to championship weekend. Games are usually electric.
I'm about to say, I knew you were excited because you got your Seattle jersey on. Normally, you have your football talk shirt on. I said,
Yeah,
Bo
well,
came out here with his jersey.
I figured with the in the playoffs, we'll do the Blue Friday thing. Might as well, right? So might
So let's talk about it.
might also because I forgot to put my laundry in the dryer. Might have played a factor also.
That I believe. That I believe. That sounds exactly about what I believe. Yep. Yep.
But no, I actually have another show that I'm popping on after this talking about the Seahawks. So that's actually why, is because it's a Blue Friday thing. But
nice. Well, let's jump into it.
So I'm with you here. I like the Patriots and the Seahawks, and we will look a little further into these. Obviously, we'll start with the Patriots and the Broncos. I would have probably liked the Broncos at home if Bo Nix doesn't break his ankle. That being said, he does break his ankle. And Stidham, as much as Sean Payton loves that guy, it's his dude. He brought him in when Russ was there as one of the first things he did before pushing Russ out of town. And so if there was anybody that was going to maximize what Stidham can do, it's probably him. That being said, I don't think it's going to be enough. The Patriots are such a well-rounded team, albeit a little bit untested, right? The easiest schedule ever. And then everybody they keep running into is either hurt or diminished in some way or whatever. So, or just, somebody wanting to throw a million picks. So, but they do have a good defense, and their offense is very disciplined. Great coaching out of Vrabel. So I do like this to still be a competitive game, though. I don't think the Patriots are going to go beat the brakes off them. I think this is going to be a competitive game, even with Stidham in there.
My thing is, I saw where Sean said, they asked if they were going to do anything differently for him, and they didn't. They said, no, we're going to do our normal, routines, normal practicing. We're not going to do anything special for Stidham or cater to Stidham anyway. Which, I thought that was just that really tells me that he does have some level of, confidence that Stidham could get the job done. So I'm not ruling out the Broncos. I do think you're right, though. I mean, it is a home game, and the Patriots are away, but the Patriots, they obviously have the competitive advantage with Drake May there. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can run the ball effectively and that defense comes up, and if they can keep Drake May on the sideline, then they possibly have a chance. And I saw, Bo, I don't know I haven't seen his new latest designation, but they said that J.K. Dobbins was limited in practice on Thursday. So I'm curious to see if he goes full out today and maybe Saturday, if he gets a shot, and maybe we see a reemergence of J.K. Dobbins. Because that would be huge.
Yeah, I don't. So probably not. They will probably keep him limited just in the interest of making sure he's as healthy as possible. That being said, I mean, the Patriots do have a ton of injuries. So, there's a lot of guys that are listed questionable for the Patriots right now. We don't have enough time in the show to go through their injury list. But that being said, they have their starting quarterback. And that is a major thing. But they do have a lot of offensive line injuries for the Patriots. So to answer this question here, do I think it's going to be a high-scoring game? Absolutely not. Both defenses are going to do work. This is going to be one of those like 20-17. If I remember right, the line is actually really low on this game. The line is 42.5 is your over-under. I don't even know if it gets there. Right? Like, I think this is going to be one of those just dirty defensive, probably some turnovers. I think it's going to look actually a lot like last week with the Patriots and the Texans.
Yeah.
Like that's the game I'm expecting, is some turnovers from both sides and just kind of an ugly defensive game. That's sort of what I'm guessing.
That really is what doomed Houston, was the turnovers. Those turnovers just killed them. And that's one of the things. I feel like if they could control those turnovers, and look, I would just say, hey, look, Stidham, you ain't got to put this team on your shoulders. We got enough, man. Just go out there, play within the system, Let the run game do its thing, and pass the rock, do some check downs, whatever. You don't have to, if he can do that and just not do the turnovers, then they still have a legitimate shot at it.
No, I mean, not you can't rule them out, right? So let's just put it that way. You can't rule them out. They have a good defense. The problem is he hasn't taken meaningful snaps in like 2 years.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, it's safe to say that there's going to be some rust when it comes to game speed. So for him to throw a pick or two would not shock me at all. Now, their defense is good enough that, potentially they can overcome that. The problem is the Patriots do have a good defense.
Right.
So we'll see kind of what that looks like. This game is going to be played, in Denver. So that does help out the Broncos a little bit. Going to Mile High is always a little bit of an issue for teams. But again, I think this is going to be a little bit of a sloppy game.
Yeah. Yeah, he just needs to pull a page out of Indy and channel his inner Phillip Rivers 5 years off the couch, and I think he'll be okay. Because Rivers obviously didn't play bad either. I mean, he wasn't great, but he played within the system and didn't do anything crazy. So if he can just play within that system, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I saw that 25 injured players for the Pats.
Yeah, I mean, so
Mm-hmm.
that is a little misleading, only because that includes all the guys that are on IR.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So CBS lists everybody that has been injured, even the ones that have been on IR for a long time. That being said, I mean, if you're just going with the guys that are currently, there's like 14. There's like 14 people that are listed as questionable. A couple of them with concussions, so that's not encouraging. The ones that are really concerning are guys like Gonzalez has a concussion. Will he clear? Tough to say. Concussion protocol is always a little bit of a question mark. Offensive guard, Jared Wilson, concussion. Never like seeing offensive line going down, especially when you, when you're talking about trying to protect a second-year quarterback. If your offensive line is down, you better be ready to run, because that defensive front for the Broncos are good. So,
and I think that's it, though. I think you hit the nail on the head. That run game, they have a serious run game. They really do in New England. Between Henderson and Stevenson, I mean, they have a damn good run game. So that you're right. And if they don't have that offensive line protection like they normally have, that's going to hinder their run. And it also could hinder Drake May being able to do what he's doing. That could put a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's going to be interesting.
The defense for the Broncos is top 5.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's not like this is going to be an easy path, right? Now, the offense for New England is also top 5.
Right.
So that's going to be encouraging. The offense for the Broncos already was, closer to 15.
Right.
With Bo Nix. And that was with the fact that they were playing out of their minds in the fourth quarters. So I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see how these match up. Patriots do struggle with backup quarterbacks. So historically.
And that defense cannot allow them, like they did the Giants and a couple other ones, those big late quarter comebacks. They're going to have to keep that pressure on the whole way through. I think not having Christian, if Christian Gonzalez doesn't play, that really hurts that secondary, because that really is their. I mean, that dude is like, I think, what is he, top 5? He's a top 5 corner.
Yeah,
and that really hurts.
He's played very well. He has played very well. The point spread favors the Patriots. They are a 4.5-point favorite right now.
Yeah.
I expect that line to move a little bit. But yeah, they are a 4.5 on the road. Most of that is because of, I have to imagine most of that is because of Bo Nix.
I wonder what the weather's looking like, or what they're expecting, especially since this system is coming through. This massive cold system's coming through. how that's going to affect it. I don't know if they're seeing any snow coming through, but I know we're getting it. If we're getting it, they should be getting it.
Denver's not supposed to get it.
Okay.
They're sort of out of the window. Basically, the whole rest of the country is getting buried in this winter storm that's coming. And then those of us on the West Coast and, as far in as like Vegas and stuff, we're mostly missing that.
Yeah.
So
like all the fun, Bo.
We have cold weather. It's been in the upper 20s overnight, but it's been sunny. So,
yeah.
So that's been also awesome because
well, that sun will definitely help you because it helps keep that snow off. Because but that would probably give you ice if it was to rain. That's what sucks.
Joe, are you just determined to never win a parlay? Is that the goal? Like, I don't understand. Like, do you just donate money to the casino? Is that
Joe's just hitting? He's just waiting for that one day. One time when it pays off, and he's going to be a millionaire, giving everybody the middle finger that didn't believe in him.
Yeah. So there will be some snow, Donna, just because it's that time of year for Colorado, but they're not getting what y'all are getting.
Oh yeah.
Where I was saying it's going to be anywhere from 1 to 144 inches. Like that's about as wide of a swing as you could possibly be. Like, I think there's going to be snow or maybe none. It's like, yeah, good job, guys. Like, I could be a meteorologist at that point.
He's not talking about you, Donna. He knows that your stuff's very accurate.
I mean, she's just saying what she saw on TV. So, I mean,
I know.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, no. So Colorado and, everything west of that isn't getting hit with the nonsense that everyone east is.
Well, we got 8 minutes, Bo. What are we thinking about Seattle? Let's talk about your team.
So this game is about as hard to predict as you can get. This is a coin flip of a game. 74% of America on Seattle for this one. Seattle's only a 2.5-point favorite at home, so they're not even getting the full 3-point home field advantage here. 46.5 is the line. I would probably pull the over here. And, Seattle has the number one defense against the number one offense. So, like, I don't know how much more you could want. You get these two games together earlier this year. There's 1 point differential between the two. There's also 1 offensive yard different between the two, which is crazy to me.
So here's my question for you. This is the question I have that's worrying me about Seattle. Is no Charbonnet, right?
That doesn't matter.
My question is, I look, we know that Walker the third has had issues with injuries in the past. Do you think and he's a small frame guy? Can he carry the load, the run game load, the whole way through? And even if he gets past this, can he do it all the way to even if you guys make it a Super Bowl?
You're talking about 2 games. He was our starter for an entire year before Charbonnet even got here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can do the job. So Charbonnet being out, unfortunate, obviously. Walker can do it. Walker needs that offensive line to do their job. So if the offensive line does what they did last week, awesome. Right? Now, I don't think they're going to beat up on them the way they did the Niners. Niners had a lot of injuries and stuff. Sure.
Right.
But he's not really Charbonnet being out because we have a 2-headed monster here. Isn't as big of a deal to me. It'd be nice if he was available, but not the end of the world. The ones that I don't like seeing is Nwosu with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
That's rough. DeMarcus Lawrence, Achilles, questionable. Don't love seeing those injuries because those are ones that can show up at any time and be a very real issue. Our offensive tackle in Charles Cross, questionable. Now, I think he plays, but how effective, right? So Seattle does have a ton of people on this injury report. And so that's where it's a little bit concerning because Josh Jones, offensive tackle, questionable. Charles Cross, questionable, offensive tackle. Amari Knight, offensive tackle, questionable. Bryce, offensive guard, questionable. I mean, we're talking about a lot of offensive line players against a Rams team that isn't a bad defense. You know, they're a top 15 defense, top 10 in scoring, but you know, when it comes to all the metrics, they're about a top 15. But they play Seattle so well.
Yeah. And one thing that occurs to me too, though, is I was just looking at your injury report as well. And Darnold still is questionable with that oblique issue. Do you think that is going to hinder him in any way?
Say that again. Sorry.
So Darnold is he's still dealing with that oblique. They got him as questionable. They had him limited in Thursday's practice run. That oblique, you know, I mean, that especially as a quarterback when you're in that throw-in motion, do you think that's going to hinder him at all?
No. I mean, every report that I've heard so far out of the Seahawks camp is that he is way better than he was last week.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then that's really encouraging.
That is encouraging.
And yeah, Helani will have the backup role. I expect him to get significant touches in this game. So Walker's going to be your starter, but I do expect Helani to have a significant role in this offense. And to be fair, he's played really well. So when he's had chances, I mean, he's done some work. So we'll see.
Joe said he's playing on both the underdogs at $10. So he's hoping for a Music City miracle that that $10 will pay off.
Yeah, 17-16. I don't think it's going to be that. I do expect this one to be a little bit higher scoring. Probably, I think it's going to be in between the last two games. So the first game was very low scoring. It was very similar to that. The second game was a lot of points. And so I think it's going to be somewhere kind of in between, which is why I went with hitting the over here at 46. I think it's probably going to be like one of those, 27-24 kind of games. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning to the over here, but just need the 12s to come make some noise.
I was about to say that could be a big factor, though. Being at home and having that loud stadium, that plays a little bit of a part in that, right?
Home field is no joke here. It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is real loud, especially postseason play. But yeah.
I wonder how your noise level compares with Arrowhead.
So we went back and forth. There was a couple of years there where they were doing the Guinness Book of World Record stuff. And so we held the loudest stadium for quite a while, and then they took it over, and then we stopped messing with it because we went back and forth a couple of times, and we're like, you can have it. Doesn't matter. We can be the second loudest stadium. So we got like a minute left.
Picks. Who you got, Bo? Who you riding with?
Oh, so I have the Patriots getting this win. I just don't trust Stidham to be able to get this thing done. And then I have the Hawks as the home team getting this. And then I have the Hawks winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going with New England and Seattle as well. The only thing that concerns me is I just, Bo or Darnold does have a propensity to throw interceptions with those 14. He just has to control those turnovers, but I'm going to ride with them. That defense is just amazing. And by the way, shout out to Marcus Lawrence. He didn't do nothing with Dallas, but I'm glad you're doing something with Seattle, baby.
He's balling out.
He's balling out. I would have liked to have had this in Dallas. That'd have been beautiful. But yeah, I don't want New England to win. I pray that Denver wins because I don't want to hear Frankie because Frankie's going to be very loud in my DMs. So
the good thing is like unless the Rams get the upset here, regardless if Seattle makes it, regardless of who goes from the AFC side, it'll be a rematch of one of the two Super Bowls. So that's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, you're right. I mean that's very true. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because 13 would have been the Broncos and 14 was the Patriots. So,
What a
yeah.
crazy life.
it would be fun. Got to get past the Rams first, and so that's no easy out.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination, especially the way Puka has been playing lately and stuff. So I expect a big game from him. I'm curious, and I'm curious to see him. You guys got a really nice tandem in Corum and also Kyron Williams. So I expect them to have a really strong run game, and that's where I want to see where your defense comes in. How y'all play against that run. So, which I know you're gonna be fine.
They're the number one passing, number one total yards, second in passing, seventh in rushing, first in scoring. So I mean that's about as good as you can get when it comes to the Rams offense. So we'll have to see. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you've been watching along with us, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, enjoy these games this weekend. Going to be great. I'm also going to be at the Kraken game tonight. If anybody's there, wave at me up on the media deck. Take it easy, everybody. Oh, where'd the